joining Lewis University's television network. Today's Monday, October 21st, 2019. I'm Luis Chavez.
And I'm Margarita Cremidas.
And we begin with our top national stories. On Sunday night, a tornado tore through Dallas, Texas, knocking out power for more than 100,000 customers and causing severe damage. The National Weather Service confirmed the tornado touched down around 9:30 p.m. The tornado damaged buildings, uprooted trees, and snapped utility poles in half. 3 people were taken to hospitals with storm-related injuries that were not life-threatening. 6 schools across the Dallas Independent School District canceled classes Monday due to the extensive damage some of the campuses endured in the storm.
Johnson & Johnson issued a voluntary baby powder recall after discovering a shipment of powder contained low levels of asbestos. The company has warned users to stop using bottles from lot number 22318RB. Thousands of bottles were packaged from the company have shown the levels to be only less than 1% of the powder. The FDA and Johnson & Johnson will be working together to find the cause of contamination, as well as preventing any further asbestos contamination.
ICE detained a man for 2 days after he fell down 3 stories while working on the New Orleans Hard Rock Hotel under construction. Delmer Ramirez Palma was one of more than a dozen workers who were injured at the construction site when it partially collapsed. At least 2 people were killed, and Ramirez Palma received medical attention on Saturday, almost a week after the incident. He's currently being held in an ICE processing facility in Louisiana.
The parents of a Virginia student are suing the school district because they said their son was assaulted and bullied by his middle school football teammates. A 2017 video shows black football players pinned down against their will as other teammates simulated sexual acts on them while shouting racist rants. This led to the cancellation of the football season for the school and a police investigation. No charges have been made. Local media reports the complaint filed Thursday. It alleged 3 school officials failed to create a safe, non-discriminatory, and inclusive environment.
A Texas pipeline is set to run through Heath Franson's property in Texas Hill County. Franson's hunting land, which has been in the family for 3 generations, contains more than 600 white-tailed deer and trophy axis deer. Franson and many other landowners have sided with conservative-leaning city governments members who are opposed to the long pipeline, fearing financial struggles and conservation risks. Kinder Morgan, as the company marketing the pipeline, stated numerous times that the pipeline won't pose any safety threats. Coming up next, we'll take a look into leading local headlines.
And later, we have the latest political news. Stay with us.
So who's going to do what?
I'll pack the dead batteries.
Great.
I'll only put what I don't need into a duffel bag.
Perfect. That's totally unhelpful.
No problem.
Meanwhile, I will try to comfort everyone by speaking in a calm voice. And who is going to handle supplies?
I can forget to do a list for us.
Thanks, pal.
We couldn't be any less prepared. I'm proud of you guys.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
Don't let E. coli mosh with your food. An estimated 3,000 Americans die from a foodborne illness each year. You can't see these microbes, but they might be there. So always separate raw meat from vegetables. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov.
Chicago schools are closed today after Chicago public institutions and the Chicago Teachers Union struggled to come to an agreement this weekend. The city school district announced that both classes and after-school activities would be canceled today as the Chicago Teachers Union strike goes into its 5th day. This strike is counted as the 3rd day that Chicago schools would be canceled because of these events. 26,000 CPS teachers and 8,000 support staff workers, including custodians, special education assistants, and bus aides, remain on strike. It's the first CPS teacher strike since 2012. Union negotiators and the school board said they're making progress on a deal after Chicago Teacher Union members met on Sunday.
On the south side of Chicago, a 26-year-old man attempted to rob a Taco Bell and was shot by a security guard. The man pulled a handgun on the cashier and demanded money when the security guard answered his request with a shot to the arm. The man was brought to a nearby hospital where he was treated for his wounds and will face charges. The handgun was recovered by police and no further injuries were recorded.
A man died Saturday after falling from an overhang at Starved Rock State Park. The man, 30, was working with a film crew near the council overhang when he went off the path around 10 a.m. and fell 48 feet. The man and his film crew did obtain a permit to operate at the park. However, this permit doesn't allow going off the trail. The crew consisted of 6 others as well as the man that died. Authorities haven't released the man's name at this time.
Last Thursday, the JetFood Review, Sigma Tau Delta, and the music department teamed up to host an open mic night. Students, alums, and faculty gathered at the Stagecoach Eatery and Saloon to listen to poems, stories, and music. LUTN reporter Kenny Pekulski, has a story. What's your name so far?
The Jet Fuel Review, Sigma Tau Delta, and the music department held an open mic night at the Stagecoach Eatery and Saloon in Lockport on Thursday. Students and staff showed off their different skills, which included poetry, music, and dramatic interpretations.
This is our 3rd semester hosting the event, Zach and I. Yes. But it was established before us.
The Stagecoach bar was filled with many spooky decorations to embrace the fall season and hosted many students who came to enjoy the night.
We do a collaboration with theater, art, English, and music every year for Celebration Scholarship, and then we do a karaoke night, and the music department helps us with our sound.
Come in here, sprinkle the place with powder.
The Jet Fuel Review will be launched next month on November 21st. For LUTN TV News, this is Kenny Pekulski.
Thank you, Kenny, for that report.
LUTN reporter Howard Gaitan covered another event on campus last Thursday that reminds us of the good in humanity.
My soul cries out with a joyful shout that the God of my heart is great.
Last week, Lewis University hosted the 2nd annual Brother Jeffrey Gross FSC Memorial Lecture, this time talking about changing perspective of the other through interfaith humanitarian actions.
Imagine the optics, because of the work of your brother and the dedication of the faculty members. You have 2 Muslims who were introduced by a Jewish rabbi talking in a Catholic university in this time.
One constant in his life was his desire to integrate what he was learning in his mission, in his work in ecumenism and interreligious affairs.
Rabbi Andrea C. London, who introduced our main speakers for the night.
Because Susanna Akra-Salul and Dr. Zahir Salul are 2 of the finest people I know.
Dr. Zahir Salul, who is a clinical care specialist, associate clinical professor of the University of Illinois, and co-founder of Med Global, and his wife, Suzanne Salul, founder and executive director of the Syrian Community Network.
And sometimes we think that refugees are people who are not us, but imagine yourself in the shoes of the refugees.
These are the faces of the refugees. This is Bisan and Sandy. They're 2 sisters that are part of our after-school program.
Though I am small, my God, my
This is Howard Guyton reporting for LUTN News.
great things in me.
Thanks, Howard, for that report. When we return, we have your day's top political headlines.
Later, we'll take a look at our 5-day forecast. Stay with us.
So who's going to do what?
I'll pack the dead batteries.
Great.
I'll only put what I don't need into a duffel bag.
Perfect. That's totally unhelpful.
No problem.
Meanwhile, I will try to comfort everyone by speaking in a calm voice. And who is going to handle supplies?
I can forget to do a list for us.
Thanks, pal.
We couldn't be any less prepared. I'm proud of you guys.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
Don't let E. coli mosh with your food. An estimated 3,000 Americans die from a foodborne illness each year. You can't see these microbes, but they might be there. So always separate raw meat from vegetables. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov.
After President Donald Trump calls his negotiations with the Turks for northern Syria a great day for civilization, the Turks have refused to call the deal a ceasefire. A few hours later, airstrikes and artillery fire were felt in northern Syria as the Kurdish-dominated Syrian Democratic Forces accuse Ankara of the ceasefire violation. The deal between the U.S. and the Middle East expires tomorrow, which is the same day that Russian President Vladimir Putin and the President of Turkey, Tayyip Erdogan, will meet in Sochi to discuss the future of Syria after Trump pulled troops out of Syria. Putin quickly started negotiating with the Kurds and deployed Moscow military forces to keep the Turk forces away from the Kurds and Syrian government officials. Human rights groups previously accused Moscow of committing war crimes such as bombing civilian infrastructures and aiding Syrian President Bashar al-Assad in covering up the use of chemical weapons. Russia has denied all accusations. President Trump will no longer be holding the Group of 7 summit of world leaders at his resort in Florida. Trump tweeted he reconsidered the location after receiving criticism from crazy reporters, Democrats, but criticism is from both Democrats and Republicans. Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney was hesitant at first, but he ultimately thought that the Trump National Doral was a suitable location because it is close to the Miami airport and secluded from pedestrians. The Trump administration considered many locations and visited many sites throughout the United States. They're still looking and searching for a new location for the 2020 G7 summit. White House Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney faced internal oust threats before the impeachment inquiry against President Trump. Top aides, including Trump's son-in-law and advisor Jared Kushner, were reaching out to potential replacements for Mulvaney prior to the impeachment inquiry. A source familiar with Mulvaney says he was looking for an out to leave, but other sources close to Mulvaney have denied that. While Chief of Staff is a highly important position, it has been difficult during the Trump administration, since Trump makes the final decisions. Trump has had 4 chiefs of staffs in the past 3 years. The White House made a statement announcing that Mulvaney is still Chief of Staff.
So what is Mulvaney's involvement in the impeachment inquiry?
So Mulvaney wasn't on the call directly, but he was made aware that President Trump was pushing for an investigation.
All right. Well, coming up next, we have your full 5-day forecast, and later we'll have a look at sports. Stay tuned.
So who's going to do what?
I'll pack the dead batteries.
Great.
I'll only put what I don't need into a duffel bag.
Perfect. That's totally unhelpful.
No problem.
Meanwhile, I will try to comfort everyone by speaking in a calm voice. And who is going to handle supplies?
I can forget to do a list for us.
Thanks, pal.
We couldn't be any less prepared. I'm proud of you guys.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
Don't let E. coli mosh with your food. An estimated 3,000 Americans die from a foodborne illness each year. You can't see these microbes, but they might be there. So always separate raw meat from vegetables. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov.
Hi, welcome back to LUTN News. I am Jackie with your weather today. Current temperatures of 63, humidity of 46%, mostly sunny with some winds at 22 miles per hour. Local temperatures are well off in the 60s. Up here in Madison, it's 60, 65 in Chicago, 65 in Fresno, 64 in South Bend. National temperatures, very warm in our southern states, 72 in Dallas, 63 in Nashville, and 87 in Sarasota. Cool temperatures up here in our northern states, 46 in Bismarck, 55 in Seattle, and 56 in Boston. For our satellite and radar, we can see that there's a little bit of storm coverage over here on the right. It explains some of the tornadoes that we saw earlier in Dallas, but it's mostly clear up here in Chicago. For our satellite and radar, we could see that there was some rain coming through in the early hours, but now it looks pretty clear in our Chicago, Lockport area. For our 5-day forecast, we can see a little bit of cloud and winds up here in Tuesday. 50 as our high and 37 as our low. For Wednesday, a high of 59 and a low of 39, partially cloudy. Thursday, a high of 50 and a low of 34, partially cloudy. And for Friday, it is 49 for our high and 31 as our low, partially cloudy as well. Remember to keep up with LUTN News Weather and Facebook and Twitter. Now back to Margarita at the desk.
All right, Jackie, thank you so much for that update. Stay tuned for sports next.
So who's going to do what?
I'll pack the dead batteries.
Great.
I'll only put what I don't need into a duffel bag.
Perfect. That's totally unhelpful.
No problem.
Meanwhile, I will try to comfort everyone by speaking in a calm voice. And who is going to handle supplies?
I can forget to do a list for us.
Thanks, pal.
We couldn't be any less prepared. I'm proud of you guys.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
Guessing Smokey liked that idea.
Don't let E. coli mosh with your food. An estimated 3,000 Americans die from a foodborne illness each year. You can't see these microbes, but they might be there. So always separate raw meat from vegetables. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov.
Welcome back to LUTN. I'm Matt Mohan. The women's volleyball team dropped from 6th to 10th in the national rankings after dropping 2 straight on the road last week. The Flyers got back on track at the Midwest Regional Crossover this weekend at the Volleyball Academy in Indianapolis. Lewis beat Findlay on Friday in a straight set sweep. Then they finished up the weekend at a perfect 3-0 clip with wins over Grand Valley State and 16th ranked Hillsdale. The Flyers improved to 19-3 on the year. Make sure to show up to Neil Carey Arena this Friday evening as Lewis takes on Missouri St. Louis at 7 p.m. After an impressive start to the season, the men's soccer team fell into a downward spiral this past week. The Flyers have lost 4 in a row, scoring only 1 goal in the losing streak. They lost 1-0 to McKendree on Friday and then lost 1-0 at Southern Indiana on Sunday. Flyer soccer is now 7-6-2 on the year. They look to regroup on the road against Rockhurst this Friday evening. The University of Illinois pulled off an improbable upset over the 6th-ranked Wisconsin Badgers in Champaign on Saturday. The Illini entered as 31.5-point underdogs before taking out a top 10 opponent for the first time in 12 years. Lovie Smith's crew forced 3 turnovers, including a key interception with 2 minutes remaining. James McCourt then kicked a game-winning 39-yard field goal as time expired to seal the biggest upset of the college football season. Now for briefs in the MLB, the Houston Astros advanced to their 2nd World Series in the last 3 years. Jose Altuve finished off the Yankees in cold-blooded fashion as he smashed a walk-off 2-run home run in Game 6 of the ALCS on Saturday. The Astros will host Game 1 of the Fall Classic tomorrow night against the Washington Nationals. The Blackhawks suffered a 5-3 loss to the Washington Capitals on Sunday night. Patrick Kane tried to keep the Hawks afloat, scoring a goal in a wild third period. However, Alex Ovechkin and the Caps sealed the win with 2 late goals to drop the Hawks to 2-3-1 on the season. The New Orleans Saints improved to 5-0 without Hall of Fame quarterback Drew Brees. The Saints dismantled the Bears 36-25 on Sunday, led by backup Teddy Bridgewater. Mitchell Trubisky and the Bears' offense was nauseating from start to finish, and the 3-3 Bears seem to have a lot of soul-searching to do if they want to save their season after this atrocious loss. That's all for sports. I'm Matt Mohan. Now back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you for that update, Matt. That's it for today's news. Thank you for watching. As a reminder, you can always keep up with Lewis News on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and by visiting our website, charliemedia.press. I'm Luis Chavez.
I'm Margarita Cremidas.
I'm Ayana Squires with Politics.
I'm Jackie Santillan with the weather.
Have a great night.